So today is June 13th, day 72 on the trail, and I just started walking up the fairly steep incline out of Port Clinton, Pennsylvania, which is this really neat little town. Just pull out of the way. And so yesterday, so it's I don't even know what time it is. It's 8 o'clock. I'm only like a mile in, but so yesterday it was somewhere around 23 or 24 miles from the 501 shelter to Port Clinton. Got up to 92 degrees, walking on some pretty nasty rocks. My feet were hurting. I was, of course, dehydrated again, even though I carried water. I mean, I drank it as much as I could, but it's amazing how much water you really need. But so I get down into Port Clinton, this tiny little old school town, and although it has kind of a major highway that runs through it, and I didn't know where to go. I'm walking through town and everything's closed on Monday, so I see this lady coming down the road in her car. I flagged her down to ask her if there was somewhere I could go to get a bite to eat and something to drink. So she gave me a ride a couple miles up the road, and there was a Wawa gas station. So I went in there. Everybody's looking at me like I'm homeless because I got a backpack on and I smell homeless. And I get some Powerades and some candy bars, just kind of like a little resupply. And I'm coming back out and I have no idea where to go. And this super nice guy, this gentleman, his name is Johnny. He's retired, and he asked me, I'm just sitting in the grass at the Wawa, and he asked me, he's like, "How you doing, son?" I said, "I'm doing pretty good. Really hot and thirsty, and I need to find somewhere to maybe get a bite to eat." So he takes me, and he's like, I'll take you. There's a firehouse down in this Port Clinton town. He takes me to this firehouse. You have to be a member to get in. Well, he's a member. He signs me in. I go in this little, it's like a full bar, and we have some beers and get something to eat, and he pays for it. He won't let me pay for it. And we sit there for a few hours talking with some of his friends that are in there, and I cool off. It's nice and air conditioned. And then he's like, "Well, where do you want to go now?" And I said, "Well, there's a pavilion in the town that lets hikers stay for free, and you just put up your tent in the grass, and you know, it's a little nice little place." And I said, "I guess I'll go there." I was like, "Well, I think I really need something more substantial to eat." And he said, "I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take you to a nice place." And I said, "Well, I don't really have nice place kind of money. I'm kind of on a budget for this trip." And he said, "I got you." So he takes me about 10 miles out of town to this other little really neat town, to this really nice restaurant that, the way I'm dressed and smell, I do not belong there. But the owner, Kevin, was very kind. He understood I was on the trail and knew that I obviously can't help the way I smell and look. And he sat me down, and we had an amazing dinner. I mean, like $20, $30 plate dinners. And Johnny paid for it all. I mean, it was almost $100 with tip. It was like $100 tab, and he paid for the whole thing. Wouldn't let me pay anything. And then he's like, well, I don't want to just drop you off at this pavilion. Just come stay with me. You can have a shower. I'll get up early and I'll take you back to the trail. So, stayed at his place, slept in a nice comfy bed, had a shower, got up this morning, got my stuff together, and then he goes take me to the trail, where I left off at, and swings into this little diner for breakfast, and then buys me breakfast. I mean, it's just like the best trail magic ever. Anyway, I can't thank him enough. I couldn't thank him enough. He's going through some rough times right now. His mom is really sick. His dad is really sick, and I wish them the best. Sounds like they're gonna pull through. But it just goes to show you, I mean, now granted, Johnny went way above and beyond a typical trail angel that comes out and just helps out hikers along the trail. But I mean, it just means so much. And I told him, you know, of course he's like, I mean, he's retired, he's got money, I guess, he's got some money saved up. It's not that big of a deal to him. But what it does for me is just unbelievable. And I told him, I was like, man, there's a lot of things I'll remember and take from this trail. I was like, but what you did just now will always be with me my whole life. I mean, it's just, I could cry right now. It's just, you know, it's really hard out here. And the day in, day out, and eating the same old crap, it's really hard. And to have somebody like this just really do this for you just means so much. And you know, I'll never be able to repay him for what he did, but you know, I'd like to think that I can pass it forward at some point for somebody, you know, whether they're hiking the trail or just need a helping hand with whatever they're going through, you know. I don't know, I just wanted to share that with everyone. You know, I mean, it's my motivation for the day, you know, just the kindness and everything that he did is gonna push me through another day of 92-degree heat and these crazy rocks. I know it's hard to tell, but these rocks are so hard to walk across. But I just wanted to share that with everybody. I'm trying to get about 22 miles in today, and there's a shelter that I'm probably gonna put my tent up and stay at. And if there's anything worth updating about, I will. If not, I'll video tomorrow. So today is June 14th. A little different view today as I try and hold the camera steady while walking over some of these rocks. I wanted to just show what these rocks are like. This isn't even that bad of a section, but they just keep going on and on. And I mean, they're anything from the size of, you know, like, I don't know, 20-pound rocks to the size of cars, and you just have to dance through them and try not to twist an ankle or break a bone in your foot getting wedged in between rocks. And it's time consuming picking your way through this stuff. You know, normally you're walking at a pretty good pace, but it's slowed definitely by these rocks. And then, with that said, there's rattlesnakes lurking within the rocks. So when I'm not on, a lot of times if I'm not hiking with somebody, I'll put my headphones in and just kind of listen to some music to help pass the time. But when I get on rocks like this, I always take my headphones out, and so I can hear a rattlesnake, because I don't want to not hear it and then step over a rock and step right onto a rattlesnake, and then that would and then I gotta go figure out how to deal with a rattlesnake bite if that happens. So anyway, this is just a little view of what the trail looks like. But yesterday I got about 22, maybe a little more than 22 miles in. Got to the Allentown shelter where I set up my tent, and it was a nice night. It was I think it went down to like in the upper 60s, so I didn't have my rain fly on or anything, and for a while it was nice just to watch the stars through the net of my tent, the screen part. And then somewhere in the night it started to get a little cloudy and windy, but it was actually pretty nice. The breeze felt really good, and I slept really, really well. And then today I'm gonna try and do another 22 miles and get to there's a town called Danielsville that looks like it's I'm gonna cross a road. It's like a 1.5 mile hitch, so I'll try and hitch a ride into Danielsville and see if there's somewhere to eat, and I'll probably find somewhere stealthy to put up my tent where I won't get in any trouble, but I don't have to pay to stay in town. So we'll see how that works. And then then after today I won't have but about 30 or 31 miles until I'm at the Pennsylvania-New Jersey border. So I'm pretty excited to get to knock another state off the list of 14 states that I'm walking through. So it's the little milestones that lead up to the main goal. So another good thing about today is it's only supposed to be a high of 82. In the past 3 days it's been 90 to 93 degrees and sunny. It's been really hot, so, and really scarce water, so it's going to be good. All right, today is June the 15th. It is my 74th day on the trail. I am almost out of Pennsylvania as of where I camped at. I have 29 miles to go to the New Jersey border. It is about 20 minutes after 6 in the morning. Just left camp, and there's a shelter about 6 miles before the New Jersey border, so 23 miles for the day. I may stay there. The rocks are supposed to be like little daggers everywhere sticking up. They're really sharp, and I'm not sure I don't know how that's going to make my feet feel by the end of the day, so I may end up just staying at that shelter and just knocking those last 6 miles out in the morning, getting into town. But I don't know, I may get there and feel good and feel like pushing on. Temperature wise, today is supposed to be only in the low 80s again, and I think it's supposed to be kind of cloudy, so that makes for some decent hiking weather. So I may try and push on, because I know tomorrow, Friday, they are calling for thunderstorms. I just don't know if those thunderstorms are supposed to be all day, or if it's, you know, the typical summertime afternoon thunderstorms. So I'll play it by ear and decide what I want to do once I get in about 20 some miles. But so water is going to be really scarce today. In the whole 23-mile stretch to that shelter this evening, there's only one place to get water, and that's about 9 miles from where I'm at right now, and all I have is this just tiny bit that's in my thing. So I did drink a little bit of this morning. I drank a lot yesterday evening, so everything I had carried later in the day, I drank yesterday evening because it was hot. So yesterday I was going to do more miles, but ended up doing 24 miles, or 24 and a half. Yesterday I got, after about 18 miles, I got into Lehigh Gap, and you come down this steep section down to the river. I actually hitched a ride with this guy. I jumped in the back of his truck. He drove me, it's like a mile and a half, to the town of Palmerton, and dropped me off, and there was this little place called Joe's Subs, and I had a big old cheesesteak and fries and a couple soft drinks, and sat there and cooled off for a couple hours, charged my phone, and then I got another hitch back to the trail where I climbed, which had to be the steepest thing I've climbed the whole trail. If it wasn't, it was damn close. It was hand over hand. You know, one slip and you're dead. I mean, one slip and you're gonna fall a long ways straight down. So it was fun, is what it was, but it was hairy at the same time. So you had to really pay attention where you place your feet, and make sure that that's definitely where you want to put your foot to push up. And being sweaty, because it's a pretty steep walk up to that point that you start climbing, your hands are sweaty, and if anybody knows anything about rock climbing, that is a no, because it's just slick on the rock. I wish I had my climbing bag, my chalk bag, to get a better grip, but it worked out, and I got up there, and it was like 3:30 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I did it, so it was in the heat of the day, and so it was kind of tough. And then I went across, this is all yesterday evening, I went across Blue Mountain, which is the mountain that you're climbing up there at Lehigh Gap. And it used to be the site of an old zinc smelting operation from the late 1800s, and they shut it down in 1980. And there was so much pollution that everything up there is dead. They're starting to do some regrowth in some spots, but pretty much everything's dead. And it was really hot because of that, because there was no tree cover. So needless to say, by the time the day came to an end, I was pretty tired and hot and dehydrated, so I drank most of my water. Another cool thing that happened yesterday is I saw my first bear on the trip. It walked right in front of me. I'd say right in front of me. It was probably, I don't know, 120 feet or so in front of me. And it walked through some really tall ferns, and it wasn't a very big bear. I mean, I don't know about weight, maybe 80 or 90 pounds, maybe 100, but it walked out and just casually walked through the ferns across the trail, and then it stopped, and I stopped, and it stood up on its hind legs, and it looked around. It looked directly at me, and I didn't move a muscle, and it turned and got back down and just kept moseying on along. So it was pretty cool. And then probably a half a mile later, I'm walking down the trail, and there's these ferns on the side of the trail, green, beautiful ferns, similar to like kind of the ones you see there, but they were really tall. They were probably up to my waist, and they would kind of hang over on the side of the trail, and the trail's probably about 2 foot wide there. And I'm walking along, and as I take a step with my right foot, and I'm walking at a pretty good pace, you know, faster than I am now because I'm dancing through these rocks, but I'm moving along, and I put my right foot down, and I noticed that something like moved right there at the side of the trail by the ferns, and then I felt like a tap on my shoe, and it startled me, so I kind of jumped forward to the left, and I look around, and it's like a freaking 3.5 foot, or maybe even more than that, copperhead. And freaking copperhead had struck at me and like tapped my shoe. I was like, what the heck? It scared the hell out of me. And then I didn't even realize what it was when I stopped back, because he was kind of under the fern, and I had to really look under there to see what it was. But he was good size. He was probably, I don't know, not quite 2 inches in diameter at the fat point. And so anyway, I didn't mess with him. I kept on going. But those suckers, man, copperheads are mean. I've only seen 2, and but everybody else that I've talked to that's had encounters with copperheads, they've all talked about how they're mean as crap. They'll take their poles to try to move them off the trail, and they'll strike at their poles. And you know, the rattlesnakes and everything else, you can move them out of the way, and they never strike at it. And they're just a little more docile, I guess. But copperheads are no joke, man. I tell you, if you ever encounter one, whether you're in your yard or out in the woods, man, don't mess with it at all if you don't know what you're doing, or get somebody out there that does know what they're doing. And I'm not saying kill it, but you know, do what you think is right. But just don't mess with it, because they're mean. They will strike at you. They will keep striking at you, and they're hard to see. So they're the hardest thing to see on the trail because they blend in, and they're the most aggressive thing. So it's like a lose-lose situation. But anyway, today is shaping up to be a good day. Plan on doing at least 23 miles, maybe push 29, get into Jersey. There's a church hostel right at the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border, and it's donation based, and I can get a shower. So most donation based places, I'll slip in $5 or $10 and stay there, and then they let you get a shower, and you get a little comfy bed to sleep in. So it's pretty cheap. So there's also a barber across the street, and from there, an ice cream shop. So I may go and get my hair cut, because it is hot and aggravating, getting long for what I'm used to. And I might even get them to trim up my beard a little bit. I may just tell the barber, just say, you know, I want my beard to still be there. I want to still look like a thru hiker. I just don't want to look homeless. and we'll just see what he comes up with. So anyway, life on the trail is still exactly what it always has been. You wake up at 5:30, you get your stuff together, and you get on the trail. And you hike until you just can't do it anymore. Just to wake up and do it all over again. So we'll see what today brings, how many snakes I see. I think I saw 5 or 6 yesterday. And I got to see a bear. So we'll see what today brings.